All right, it's great to be here with my friend Wendell Odom. He's been on the Cisco Learning Network lots of times. We just did an awesome webinar series that we'll put the link to here so you can go hear more of the topics we're going to talk about. So let's start with what's the coolest, most interesting addition to the blueprints for CCNA?
Oh, that's a good one. So cool and new. I'd say cool. I'm going to say QoS because I just saw Tim Seghetti do his usual QoS pitch yesterday, and he is Mr. QoS here at Cisco Live, and I love QoS. I don't know that many people would agree that QoS would be the coolest. It's been around such a long time, but I think most people would look at the blueprint and say the cloud topics and the network programmability topics are the coolest new ones. And I think for the most part, those are cool. They are new. And BGP, I think people will say that's new, but that's not cool. That sounds hard. And to the level that it's in CCNA, it's really not all that hard, so which is the nice thing. So I think most people will get into the SDN programmability part and say, oh yeah, I've heard of that, I understand that better now, and I think it'll be a really good first step, and just realize that every network engineer is still figuring that out, so don't feel like you have to own the entire world of network programmability or cloud to be good at what you need to do for CCNA route switch now.
Awesome. Okay, so you said BGP, which I know everybody just took a deep breath on that one. And you did talk about that at length in our webinar series. Right. But what's the hardest thing that you see, or what's the most difficult, challenging topic that's been added?
All right. Oddly enough, I would pick of just one, SNMP version 3. It is hard to configure. And they added to a config, verify, and troubleshoot level, which the verbs matter about how deeply you need to know it. And it's just a mess of commands, and they're not obvious. And it just takes a lot to work through. The other one that's not new but also hard is PPP over Ethernet configuration. It's technically old, but I added a lot more to the books this time on that because it again is difficult. One of the difficulties is you configure the feature on multiple interfaces, and then as it gets through various levels of being configured correctly, it adds a third virtual interface, and there's about 6 different things you can misconfigure. And the virtual interface can show up, but even then you might have it misconfigured. So the whole troubleshooting of when it's actually functional is very difficult to figure out. So the configuration is medium to hard, and then the troubleshooting is very hard. So even though it's not new, it's a chance to tell you, make sure you get your PPPoE down.
All right, and we've got your books here. So, yep. So these are the 2 new books. They've only been out, basically couple of months, one of them just a month, right?
Yeah. The IC&D one came out when the exams announced in late May, but IC&D 2, it was in stock last week. I saw my first copy here at Cisco Live. It hadn't even arrived at my house yet before I came to the show. So those are obviously very recent. So,
so the books are available online. If you watch this later, months later or whatever, this will still be the book for Cisco Press. And as always, Wendell, I dig, meeting you and hanging out. It's one of the things I love about Cisco Live.
I always enjoy it.
Yep.
Appreciate it.